Daniel, After the Gold Rush is one of my favorite albums. Can you and you use Only Love Can Break Your Heart by Neil Young during a really emotional scene. Can you speak to using that song to really amplify the emotion of that moment? Because I thought it was a really great song choice.
Thank you so much. Originally, it was scripted as a completely different song in a different moment. And in editing the film, it just felt like I didn't need aggression in that moment. I needed innocence, ultimately, and a kind of naivety and a kind of vulnerability. And I think we tried so many different songs in that place. And I was listening to a playlist that I had made like one night while I was editing, and the song came on, and I just knew, I had this creeping suspicion that it was going to work. And we put it on, and it speaks so much to the moment, but I think it's that it speaks to such a universal feeling too. And you know, any opportunity to give a nod to my Canadian people, Canadian heroes, yeah, it just worked. That's the beauty of music and movies, is like it takes a minute to find it, but when the right song hits at the right moment, it can really do some wonderful things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it turned out great. And Ruth, you three all come across so naturally as friends. I love the karaoke scene. It really feels like you've known each other forever. Was that sort of an instant connection, or how did that kind of chemistry develop over the shooting?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much instant. I think we're kind of naturally sort of friendly people. I would hope. But I also think, Dan went out of his way to make it sort of, we went on a weekend away. We did like panic rooms or escape rooms, whatever they're called.
Panic rooms. We all hid in a panic room.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I got very panicky. So, you see your true colours there. So there's a lot of bonding going on. But no, I think that's, I appreciate that, because I think it takes work, but it's not hard work. It's just a really lovely thing. But I do think it takes a kind of vulnerability and being open to want each other's energy, because in this film what's really important is that they are allowed to be sort of their worst selves with each other. And it's acting, but it's also a very vulnerable place for a character to be in. I was very aware of Sophie's vulnerabilities, and at those points when you feel you have no excuses and you have nothing but sorry to say, and that's quite difficult. But I think Dan created an alchemy with the cast and the crew that made those moments what they are so natural. It's kind of, I think that takes a lot. That's the work that is done in the prep, behind the scenes. So it's not something that you can just assume. But when it does happen, when you put the work in, it does feel very like what do you say, like butter.
Himesh, you're all going through relationship issues in this movie, and a lot of them come to a head at the Ferris Wheel scene, which I thought was just fantastic. How was it filming that scene with everybody?
It was quite an operation, yeah. It was at the actual Ferris wheel that was in the Tuileries there in Paris, and until 24 hours before we shot it, we thought we would have full control of the whole Ferris wheel, and it would just be us and our people in the Ferris wheel. And then you found out very late in the game that we were in fact not being given that. We were giving 2 carriages, and we would just have to get it going. The Ferris wheel was going to be operational as it always would basically be. And so, I don't know, it's always fun though as an actor when, you've got a big scene coming up, you want to rise to the challenge, but it's so much easier when you feel supported by the people around you, and as I had done to that point. It was fairly late in the shoot when we got to that scene, and it just felt like, we were ready to do it. And as challenging as it was very cold in that Ferris wheel in December in Paris. But it was great.
A lot of hot water bottles hidden.
Yes.
On laps and at feet, and our DP Ula Birkeland was shooting it, and he was shrouded in like a black cape so that he didn't show up in the reflection behind us. So all we would see would be like, from Ruth and my perspective, was Himesh, and then beside Himesh was like essentially the goblin from Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
You know, the like ghost from
Yeah,
Spirited
yeah.
Away?
Yeah.
It was
With a
kind of like,
camera.
but with a camera and then two little legs sticking out with a hot water bottle on them. It was like the greatest. It's those moments where you think, well, this is the thrill of
living.
filmmaking.
Showbiz, baby.